In our last video, we covered Business Funding 101, breaking down where to find capital, when to apply, and the different funding options available for South African entrepreneurs. If you missed it, make sure to check it out after this video. But today, we're diving deeper, especially into government grants and funding programs for South African startups. If you're looking for funding options that can help you grow your business without taking on unnecessary debt, this video is for you. This is part 2 of our business funding series. So if you're serious about securing funding, stick with us. Now, before we jump into the specific funding options, let's clear something up. Not all government funding is free money. Here's how it works. Some funding is in the form of grants. These are non-repayable, meaning you don't have to pay them back as long as you meet the conditions. Some funding comes as loans. These have to be repaid, usually with interest. Some funding is equity-based, meaning the funder takes a share of your business and you can buy it back later. The key is knowing which funding type fits your business best. So let's dive into the major funding options available. First up, we have SEFA, one of the biggest funding agencies supporting small businesses in South Africa. SEFA provides loans and, in some cases, a combination of loan and grants to businesses that need funding but struggle to get traditional bank loans. So who qualifies for SEFA funding? Registered businesses or cooperatives in South Africa, at least 51% Black-owned for most funding streams, businesses in retail, manufacturing, agriculture, or construction. A solid business plan and growth potential is needed. Types of SEFA funding: bridging finance, which covers short-term cash flow gaps. There's also term loans for buying assets, equipment, or expanding. Then there's the Youth Challenge Fund, specifically for entrepreneurs aged 18 to 35. Key facts: SEFA loans are repayable, meaning you have to pay them back over time. Grant funding from SEFA does not have to be repaid, but these are usually offered as part of specific programs that are less common. So how do you apply for SEFA funding? Prepare your business plan and financial records. Visit SEFA's website at www.sefa.org.za. Submit your application online or at a SEFA office and then wait for approval. Processing usually takes between 4 to 6 weeks. If you qualify, this could be a great funding option for your business. Next, we have the National Empowerment Fund, NEF, which focuses on funding Black entrepreneurs to build and grow sustainable businesses. So who qualifies here? So the criteria is 51% Black ownership. You must be a registered business, either a PTY Limited, CC, or a cooperative. Businesses must be in manufacturing, energy, tourism, ICT, or agriculture. And lastly, you must show job creation potential. The different NEF funding options: there's debt funding, so loans, which is repayable with interest, and then there's equity funding, where NEF takes a share of your business and you buy it back later. And the key facts: NEF does not offer grants. Equity funding requires the business owner to repurchase shares over time. Debt funding works like a standard loan and must be repaid with interest. How do you apply for NEF funding? You need to prepare a detailed business plan and then ensure your business is compliant. So CIPC registration, tax clearance, etc. And then apply online on www.nefcorp.co.za, and then follow up and be patient. The process takes also roughly 6 to 8 weeks. If you're a Black entrepreneur looking for serious funding, NEF is a great option. Now, if you're in manufacturing, tech, or exporting, you need to check out the DTIC grants. These are non-repayable grants, meaning you don't have to pay them back as long as you meet the funding conditions. Best DTIC grants for startups, there is Black Industrialist Scheme, BIS, for Black-owned manufacturing businesses. And then there is Support Program for Individual Innovation, SPII, if you're developing a tech or innovative product. And then there's Export Marketing and Investment Assistance, EMIA, which helps businesses expand internationally. How to apply for these DTIC grants? First, choose the right grant. Each one has different eligibility requirements. And then prepare a strong business case. Clearly explain why you need the funding. And then apply online on www.thedtic.gov.za. Some grants require pitching, so be ready to sell your idea. Now that you know the best government funding options, here's how to make sure your application actually gets approved. 1. Have a strong business plan. Clearly show how the money will be used. And then make sure your business is compliant. CIPC registration, tax clearance, and BE certification. And then highlight job creation and economic impact. The government prioritizes businesses that create jobs. Then follow up and be patient. These grants take time, but persistence pays off. Well, this is it for part 2 of our business funding series, and we have even more funding tips coming your way. Next up, we'll be covering how to write a winning business plan for funding applications. If you want your application to stand out, you cannot miss it. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss part 3. If you haven't watched part 1, Business Funding 101, check it out now.